Namaste, yogis, and welcome to Yoga Point at Home. I am Melissa Lees, and I will be guiding you through about 30 minutes of a grounding practice to help return us to ourselves, to help build our foundation, make it strong once more, and hopefully find some safety and security within the four walls of our mat. So we will go ahead and get started. If you have two blocks, they would be a great addition to today's practice. Also, if you have a blanket or maybe a throw pillow for Shavasana or to place under cranky knees if you're on a hard surface, that would be a great idea. Take a few moments to get settled, unroll your mat, and we will get started. We'll begin seated, easy cross-legged seat in the center of your mat, or maybe legs extended feels a little bit nicer. We'll be seated for a little bit, so if you want to find yourself rested up against a wall, that might be a great option, especially if you know you're having some low back issues today. Take a moment to reach underneath you and spin all of the meat out of the way so you feel your sitting bones rooting down into the mat. Roll the shoulder blades back onto the rib cage and softly begin to maybe soften the eyes or close them down completely. Take the palms of the hands and rest them on the backs of the knees and just begin to tune in. I'm trying to take these first few moments to view your inner landscape, to notice how you're feeling right now in this moment. Let go of how you felt before you stepped on the mat. Take a moment to forget what it is that awaits you when you roll out of Shavasana. And instead, just begin to feel out your body. Is there tension in your legs? Do you feel holding in your belly? Do your shoulders feel as though they're snuggled up to your ears? Notice your hands. Does it feel like they're gripping your knees, or are they simply resting? And as you begin to tune in to these places, listen to the stories they're telling you. We're not really gripping to our knees, we're clinging to something else. We're hiding our hearts by wrapping our shoulders up and forward. We're drawing everything in to our belly region because we feel like we have to hold on. And for these next few moments we share on the mat, I want you to let go of all of that. With your gaze soft or your eyes closed, just begin to visualize the four walls of your mat. Visualize them as a safe haven, a castle, a fortress. And within the four walls of your mat, you are completely safe. You are its guard. You are the guardian of your castle. Nobody can bother you here unless you let them. And as you situate here in your fortress, start to let go of the reins. Let go of all the things you think you have to do. And just begin to just be here. As you feel a softness in your palms. Maybe take your right hand to your low belly. Feel the warmth of your hand press there. Feel that warmth spread throughout your torso. And with it, let it bring a calming sensation. And start to feed Muladhara chakra, your root chakra. I am safe. I am secure. With the walls of your castle constructed, start to think now about the foundation of your body, your mental space. The physical and the emotional and the mental, all here built upon the same groundwork. I am safe. I am secure. Ground down here within your fortress, knowing you are unshakable. Nothing can disturb your inner peace here. Keeping your right hand on your belly, just begin to feel your sitting bones and the lower parts of your body that connect to the foundation, to the mat, to the earth, and root them in deeply as though you are grounding down like the roots of a really strong oak tree. Unperturbed by any storms raging above, your roots are the foundation of your inner peace. And softly bring your right hand to your heart space and allow your left hand to join it. With the eyes still soft, bow your chin into your chest and take a moment to set your intention for practice. What is it that you need today? How can you use that to guide you through practice so that even in the most challenging moments, you're still here within the four walls of your mat, grounded down, rooted in your practice? Take a moment, inhale deeply, fill up, and then on an exhale, soft sigh out the nose. Just letting that settle into the body. Release your hands to your knees once more, this time holding on a little more intentionally, and we'll just start to circle through the body, feeling ourselves move around our sitting bones, rocking around those points, drawing big circles. And then go in the opposite direction and see if you can get the shoulders involved. Relax the head and roll around. Think of yourself like a spinning top, moving on that central point. And then pause. Notice that gentle swirling sensation through the body, feeling the prana move, but noting that you're still grounded on those sitting bones. And practice can be a lot like that. We can feel like we're swirling and moving, but we try to stay grounded throughout. Allow your left hand to move out by your left hip and swim your right hand up and over, gentle side bend. Bend the left arm a little bit, sink into that left arm, and then take a big inhale, press into the left arm, roll the right shoulder back. If the palm is facing the earth, rotate it up towards the sky, or if it's facing the sky, rotate it down towards the earth, just changing the sensation of the opening. Strong inhale deep into the belly, lift up, rise up, right fingertips come down to the earth, left arm swims up and over, Sink into the right arm, bend the elbow softly, and then with an inhale, press and firm into the right arm. Reach strongly with the left fingertips over to the left. And then change the positioning of your hand. If left palm is down, chase it up towards the sun, towards the earth, or the sky, not the earth, the other way. And likewise, if it's facing the sun, turn it down towards the earth. Big inhale back to center. Both hands connect to the mat, and we'll just change the cross of our legs, maybe extending them out long if we've started to lose a little sensation. Noticing how that feels a little different, maybe settling a block under the knee if we need. On an inhale, both arms float up, and try and use the full inhale as you come up. Feel yourself grounding down, limbs reaching for the sky, maybe palms touch overhead. And then exhale, let the palms come away from one another, reach down for the mat. And we'll do that 2 more times, trying to use the full length of the breath to lift up on the inhale. And to fall down on the exhale. Almost like you're riding the current of your breath. One more time, big inhale, fill up. And soft exhale, come down. We'll switch gears just a little bit. Good time for a blanket if you have cranky knees. We'll come into table. We'll swing knees behind us. Hands will plant under shoulders. We'll start to find our hips over our knees, our wrists under our shoulders, our fingertips connecting on purpose. Just as important here to have hands connect to the mat, just like our sits bones did. Soft bend in the elbows, roll the shoulder blades onto the back and start to engage the belly. So engage doesn't mean pull it in as strongly as you can. It means simply find some strength. Engage through the glutes to spread the sitting bones and see if you can connect all 10 toes into the mat. On an exhale, press the heart space up. Let the belly empty completely. And then inhale, fill as much as you can as you draw the belly down, tailbone lifts, head lifts. And we'll do that a few more times, moving through our cat-cow on our own breath, completely emptying the body on the exhale, compressing front side, and filling completely on the inhale, expanding the rib cage in the belly. As you do, think about trying to touch chin to tailbone under the body on the exhale. And likewise, as you ripple through the spine, bringing tailbone and the back of the head closer in our cow inhalation. And then finally, press into hands. Pull the belly back to neutral, length through the neck so the crown of the head is reaching for the front side of your mat as your tailbone expands and reaches behind you. Press firmly into fingertips and extend the right foot back behind you. Ball of the foot lands, all 5 toes are tucked. And then see if you can keep from falling in the right hip by pulling the hips in line with one another. The inner thighs are engaged, like they still want to touch. Press back through the heel, feel length through the calf. Breathe. Allow the left toes to turn off towards the left edge of your mat. Roll onto the outside edge of the right foot. Ground down through the left hand. Begin to release the right. Right fingertips reach up, lift up. Belly engages. See if you can keep from falling into the left hip by picking the hips up. Press through the outside edge of that right foot. And then maybe stay here. This might be a great place to practice. Or you engage through your core, lift fingertips away from the mat, and find yourself in a strong gate pose. As you do, pull shoulder blades in as you reach fingertips out, maintaining that action of tailbone towards the mat rather than flaring behind you. Tailbone comes straight down. Taking a big inhale here. Float right fingertips down the right thigh gently, barely kissing the leg as the left arm comes up and over. And as it comes up and over, think about that side body stretch from when we were seated. Root down through the knee and through the foot. Taking an inhale and change the direction of your palm, changing the way the opening feels. With an inhale, return to center, squeeze through inner thigh, shoulder blades engaged. And slowly take the left hand down to connect with the mat. Right chest turns down, right hand connects. And bring right knee back underneath the hip. And then maybe wiggling that hip out a little bit, drawing some circles with the tailbone. Settling back into our table, be mindful of those elbows. They want to rotate forward on some of us, especially with really open arms, but rotate them in, eyes of the elbows parallel to one another, soft bend so that tricep engages. Pressing down with the right foot, extend the left foot back, ball of the foot plants, all 5 toes on the mat, press back. Pull belly in. It's so easy to fall here, but we want to keep our foundation strong throughout the body. Press into the hands, shoulders down the back. Maybe stay here working on that left side plank, or turn the right toes off towards the right edge of your mat. Left foot plants. And we ground down through the right hand as we lift the left hand high towards the sky. Chest is wide open. Think about trying to open the portals of the arms here. Reach with left fingers. Roll left hip back gently so right hip has room to come forward. Ground down through the feet, disengage the right hand, and lift up into our gate pose. Palms face down, fingertips lengthen. Belly pulls in so tailbone has room to root. Maybe balance here, start to float those left fingertips down the left leg, and notice we're not falling into that arm. We're just maintaining a light connection as right fingertips float up and over. Right shoulder rolls back gently. Gaze is up underneath the arm. Breathe. With an inhale, float the palm the opposite direction and reach through the hands so that you really feel length happening from right knee to right middle finger. Softly inhale back to center, palms face down, and once more fingertips reach. And as softly as you can, take that right hand back down to the mat, so slow, plant it on purpose. Left chest rolls down, left hand plants, and knees move under the hips. Again, drawing circles from before, helping to move through the hips. And then when you're ready, maybe you stay here. This might be a really nice place to practice for you today. Or we'll move into our first downward facing dog. Bricks at the front of the mat are a great idea, or rather blocks, however you want to call them. Hands step forward a half space. They engage, fingertips on the mat like you're going to pick it up, palm it as you would a basketball. Wrap the eyes of the elbows in, shoulders down the back. Feel belly pull in. Tucking your toes, gaze is in between the thumbs. Start to pick the knees up. As you do, lift the tailbone up nice and high. Shift the weight towards the legs. Before letting the heels plant, point tailbone nice and high, roll shoulders together, and then take a few moments walking through. Yes, listening for those snap, crackles, and pops. Probably not the only one. And then planting feet or keeping heels elevated. There's no prize for getting heels down. Maybe they'll be down tomorrow. If it feels like there's too much emphasis on the front side of the body, step the feet a little bit wider and give yourself a nice firm foundation. If you feel like you're crunched in the shoulders, step the hands apart a little bit. Give yourself some more space. Wherever you are, breathe here for 3 more breaths. Filling up with the inhale. And on the exhale, softening into the hands and the feet. So as we try to press forward with our hands, we're dragging back with our feet, keeping these long lines of energy. Maybe you step forward from downward facing dog. It might be a good idea to come down to knees wherever you are in your practice. Start by picking the right foot up and settle the knee in towards the chest. Step the right foot forward in between the thumbs and then bring left knee down. Now, from downward facing dog seems like a big challenge and you'd like to move from table, what I would suggest is take your blocks. Have them underneath your hands in table. Gives us a little more space. So if you settle back into table, hands onto your blocks, pull your right knee into your chest, look where you're going to land your foot, and then step your foot there. You can keep blocks under your hands the whole time, or if the earth is close enough, you can take hands back down to the earth. I'm going to use blocks just to keep everything nice and level. Think about tailbone rooting down. So it's all about grounding into our practice today. As we root down with the tailbone, we start to energize through our lower body, so the foundation of our pose. Thinking about that right heel, trying to drag backward to meet the left knee as the left knee pulls forward. Isometric engagement, trying to pull things together without moving them. If we're here and we're feeling very wobbly, it's nice to tuck the left toes just for a little added stability, a kickstand, if you will. With hands either connected to the blocks, working on that strength of inner thighs, or maybe you're feeling more balanced today and you take hands in at heart center. With hands at heart center, start to find something in front of you that can take your full awareness. Focus on it, your drishti, your focal point. Smile at it too, because it's helping you in this process. And then place thumbs right at your heart. Pick them up about an inch and see if you can inhale as you lift the heart towards the thumbs. As you lift the heart towards the thumbs, keeping your gaze focused on your drishti, start to press the chest up and forward. Lift the chin away from the chest. And as much as you're squeezing inner thighs together, press palms together. Having that symmetry in the body, so the lower half reaching towards the midline, the hands pressing into the midline. Notice if belly is active, and breathe. Maybe stay here, come back to center. Release the hands away from one another, bring them back behind you, still squeezing through the legs as you bring the chest a little bit closer to right thigh. Try to maintain some distance, so instead of laying on it, see if you can activate through your center body. Breathe here. Return hands to your blocks. Start to straighten the right leg. You might keep hands forward, peeling toes back towards you. Or you may begin to walk the blocks closer to the hip. Here in our half split, it's nice to think that we have to get really deep in order to feel a stretch, but that's not true at all. If you're standing stock straight and there's sensation in the back side of the leg, then the stretch is working for you. Stay where there's sensation, not pain. Take in a big breath and then turn your toes over to the right with an exhale. As you do, try not to sink into that right hip, but stay nice and lifted, rotating from the hip itself. Inhale, toes to center. Grounding down with that heel intentionally, pulling right hip back. Start to turn toes towards the left. And as you do, we tend to pull the whole body around. See if shoulders can stay square to the front, hips stay square to the front. And it's just the movement of the femur inside the hip socket turning the toes. Inhale back to center, toes forward, and begin to walk your blocks back out around your right foot. Planting the blocks on the mat. Pick the right foot up, slide it back, maybe in table for a moment, drawing some circles with that hip. Or maybe you're feeling a little more energetic and you return to your downward facing dog, picking the right foot up, bending the knee and opening the hip, maybe drawing some circles with the ankle, with the knee. And then eventually, wherever we are, letting that right foot come down. Seasoned practitioners, maybe picking up your knee into your chest, sliding forward, stepping that left foot down. Those of us who are working on seasoning our practice, bringing knees to the mat, walking blocks back underneath our hands, firming belly, picking left knee up, looking where it's going to land, that's critical, and then landing it down. From here, maybe staying with hands on the blocks, or again, we can walk hands up to our thigh. And staying here for a little bit longer, because I tend to talk quite a bit when I'm cueing, so making sure that we're balanced on both sides. Maybe tucking toes for a little more balance on that right foot, or maybe having the foot flat down on top. Staying here again, working on those inner thighs, check in with glutes, make sure that they're engaged, point tailbone down. Maybe taking hands to heart center. Finding our focal point once more. Lift thumbs away from the chest and inhale, bring heart closer to thumb. As we do, think more about opening the ribcage than falling into the low back. We can all fall here, but can we lift? Can we find space? Think of yourself as that great big oak again, wanting to expand and lift out of the soil. Breathe here. Filling the whole of the torso, the whole of your trunk expanding. Again, maybe stay here, big inhale. Start to wing arms back behind you, bringing the chest closer to the thigh, but not settling, having space, firm belly. Breathe for one more breath, feeling feet connect on purpose. And then sliding hands to your blocks, beginning to straighten left leg, peeling the toes back. I'll stay a little more grounded this time, chest closer to the thigh, but if you need, begin to walk those blocks back. Take them as high as you need to find stability, to find sensation. This side might be wildly different than the other. As you're here, make sure that you're not falling into the shoulders, but you're lifted. The elbows are softly bent and the arms are engaged. Pull the right hip back in line with the left. Use an exhale to turn toes to the left. Feel the entire length of that outer left hip shorten just a little bit as we engage and lengthen the inner thigh. And then inhale to center. We'll turn toes over to the right with an exhale and start to feel that outer band of the thigh open up. Maybe not in the most comfortable manner. Again, making sure that we're lifting out of the arms rather than sinking into them. Inhale, toes back to center. Begin to bend the knee as you walk hands back forward to frame the left foot. Legs are still active here. Maybe release your blocks forward. Hands frame the foot. Look down at it. Pick the heel up. Slide the left knee back with the right. And then begin to make those circles. And if you took it on the other side, maybe you're in downward facing dog. Picking the left foot up. Bending the knee and opening the hip. But be mindful if you're here in downward facing dog, not to let all of our weight fall into our right side body. Left chest is turned down, it's not rolled up. And then land the left foot down with the right. Bending both knees. Take knees to the mat. Bring feet together. I'll turn to face you just so you know what I'm doing. But sitting in our Vajrasana, so feet are together as much as possible. Maybe you settle a brick in between so that you have a place to rest your bottom. It's a nice place to practice. We won't be here terribly long, just long enough to open up the rib cage once more. So here, feeling the tops of the feet expand and open, we'll inhale, bring the arms up overhead, interlace our fingers into our Kali Mudra, press our left hip into our left heel on purpose, and then lean softly to the right. Pull belly in, roll that left shoulder back, and notice how easy it is to lose that connection of the left hip. Press it in on purpose. Inhaling back to center, and then right hip to right heel, lean to the left. Big breath here, and release. Inhaling, coming back to center. Relax the hands down. We'll shift our weight over to the right. Keep right heel into the body. As we extend left foot out, we'll take a moment to connect fingertips to the mat once more and walk chest so that the center of our rib cage is over our knee. And then we'll begin to bend in. As we do, looking for something to hold on to. So maybe it's simply that we braid our fingers under our hamstring and pull heart forward. Thinking more about trying to touch our chin to our big toe rather than our forehead to our knee. Trying to find a nice stretch and opening across that right side back waist. And if that's too much, it's really nice to have blocks on either side. And you can rest forearms here as you root down through sitting bones. Press the left leg in and use the strength of the torso to bring the chest closer to the left thigh. Breathing here. We'll inhale, come back up to center. We'll take our blocks and walk them on either side of that right knee. Some of you won't need blocks, some of you will, so we'll just keep them here for now. Maybe taking that left brick all the way to the outside of left leg, bringing left elbow on top of that block and pressing hands together. Maybe simply bringing hands to the chest and using our body to twist. And inhale, come back to center, allowing the soles of the feet to come together. Blocks can situate under knees if they need. We'll braid our hands underneath the balls of our feet. Lift our chest up nice and high. Sit the sitting bones down. So we have a pretty common habit of picking the hips up in order to lean forward. But instead, root down through the sitting bones. Press the knees into the blocks or into the earth. Bend the elbows to bring the chest more forward. And you'll start to feel engagement through the sideways. The belly will pull in, the tailbone will lengthen down, the sits bones will connect on purpose. And it's almost like we're compressing using our strength rather than simply folding in. Be here for one more breath. And we'll inhale up. Extend your right leg out this time. Left heel comes into the body. Maybe moving our blocks to the other side, and we'll do our Janu Shirshasana on the other side. Think about the center of your heart pulling over that knee, hips rooting down, legs rooting down, and hands coming either onto the leg or onto your blocks, maybe onto the earth. But looking as though you're going to rest your chin just on your big toe. Maybe some of you can. If so, send me a video. I really want to see it. Breathe here. Feel the wrapping of QL, that side body stabilizer. You can take your hands there and likely feel the strength of that muscle start to open. Start to become less of an iron band and more of a soft rubber band, willing to move as we need it to. Inhale, rising back. Maybe taking blocks on either side of the leg. Maybe twisting here. Maybe hands at heart center coming around. Or those of you with very open side bodies, maybe taking your right elbow to your block, pressing hands together and twisting. But wherever you are, taking it in a way that makes sense for you. Again, looking for sensation rather than pain. And 2 more breaths. Knowing that we're winding down. We're coming to that sweet spot where we rest on our backs and relax. Inhale, coming back to center. Taking our blocks and settling them back out in front. Maybe you have them nearby, especially if you like them under your knees for Shavasana. We'll slowly scoot our bottom to the center of our mat, holding onto the back sides of our legs, starting to connect to the earth in a different way. Rolling the spine down, feeling each vertebra make roots of their own. Bringing the shoulder blades under the back. Extending the left leg out as we pull the right knee into the chest, right into the center of our heart. Let the left hand connect to the right leg. Right arm makes a 90-degree bend, scooting our left hip under the right and beginning to twist over to our left. It's not important that our right knee connect. It is important that we don't feel any straining or pulling across the low back. If you do, scoot the left hip even more under the body, as much as you can, so that right hip is stacked on top of left. Use an inhale to guide the right knee back into your heart. And then extend the right leg long, bring the left knee into the chest. Give it that gentle squeeze, that hug in. And then left arm 90-degree bend as the left knee draws across the body with the right hand. Left hip stacks on top of the right, especially important if you have any low back issues. We'll take a moment to tune back into our bellies. Are we forcing this? Are we pulling everything in, or are we simply letting it be what it is? Taking one more breath here, bringing any last minute thing out of our minds, any nagging thoughts, starting to let it go. And inhaling back to center, giving that left knee one more squeeze. And then extending it out with the right. Taking the feet wide on the mat, letting the toes roll out. Digging in with the heels for a moment, lift the tailbone up and scoot it a little bit towards the heels. Notice how that gives us a little more length in the low back. Bring the shoulder blades into alignment near the spine, under the back. Palms start to turn up. And tuck the chin into the chest. Lift the head off the mat. And then settle it back down so the bony ridge of the skull connects to the mat on purpose. And then begin to see your mat once more. See the 4 walls that you had erected around you. And notice they still stand tall. Feel yourself planting your body into the mat. In the center courtyard of your castle, your body lies completely still, unperturbed by any sights or sounds around you. letting go of the physical aspects of practice. Forgetting what we accomplished in our body and instead allowing the energetic alignment of our poses to settle into the body, so that the physical body has no work left to do, and the energetic body begins to take care of itself as we rest in, settle in. Notice all the points that are planted into the earth. Feel each of those body parts individually and simultaneously. And take in the biggest inhale that you've taken all day. And then a soft sigh out the nose. Let that exhalation carry with it any tension you're still holding. Feel the shoulders soften, the belly soften, the feet soften. Know that you are safe and secure in this place. Let it all go and let it all be for these next few moments. Without moving a muscle, just repeat inside your mind's eye, I am safe, I am secure, I'm fully grounded into myself, into my practice. Squeezing the eyes tight, curl fingers into the palms, flex your feet. Taking a big inhale and smile as you softly exhale. As little energy as possible, bend your right knee, place your right foot onto the mat. Bend your left arm, bring your hand by your head, press down with your right foot, roll on to your left side. Right hand connects to the mat in front of you. Take a moment to remember your intention for practice. And as you're ready, press into right hand, left arm. Begin to rise to seated in the center of your mat. Take a gentle, easy seat. Place your right hand in front of your heart. Your left hand connects to it. Bow your chin to your chest. Soften your gaze. Maybe close your eyes. The really beautiful thing about our mats is that they are a safe haven. They are a place we can plant ourselves over and over again and find security. We can plant ourselves here in times of adversity, of stress, and begin to feel ourselves rooted in so that we can continue to grow. As always, it is a pleasure and a privilege to share sacred space with you. Namaste. Thank you so much, yogis. It was a pleasure to get to practice with you, even virtually. Take a moment to hop on to yogapoint.com to check out our schedules or some new offerings. And also check out our YouTube channel, subscribe, make sure that you click that little notifications button so you know whenever we upload something new. Have a wonderful rest of your day, and I will see you again soon. Namaste.